Caribbean Roulette, Episode 2, The Signal. It was after 9 when I finally left the hotel. Anna and I had agreed to meet again the following day. She would call once she knew exactly when she was free. As the elevator descended, I couldn't get her face out of my mind. I never forgot you. Beautiful words. After 22 years, any man wants to believe them. Yet something refused to let go. The phone call, the word signal, the business meeting that had ended our evening without warning. Maybe I was imagining things, or maybe experience was whispering that something wasn't right. The elevator doors opened. As I crossed the lobby, I noticed the young waiter, the same one I'd slipped a $100 bill during dinner. He was chatting with the receptionist, but the moment he saw me, he fell silent. "Good evening, Senor Janusz." "Good evening." He smiled and gave me a respectful nod. A good kid. Back then, I had no idea our paths would cross again. Nor did I know that a $100 tip would become one of the smartest investments I'd ever made. I stepped through the revolving doors. Warm Caribbean air wrapped around me like a blanket. Several taxis waited outside. I raised a hand. One pulled up immediately. "Old San Juan." The driver nodded and pulled away. The city glowed beneath the tropical night. Restaurants buzzed with life. Music poured from open bars. Couples wandered along the waterfront, laughing as if tomorrow didn't exist. A few blocks before my house, I asked the driver to stop. I paid the fare and continued on foot. I needed the walk. I needed time to think. After 22 years, Anna had walked back into my life, and here of all places, Puerto Rico, an island beautiful enough to make anyone believe the past could never find them. Home was close, but I wasn't ready to go back. Not yet. My head was full of questions. Instead, I turned toward one of my favorite taverns. I had been coming here for years. The locals knew me. Some even treated me like one of their own. Laughter drifted through the old wooden doors before I reached them. I stepped inside. Behind the bar stood Inez, exactly where I expected her to be. She looked up, smiled, and welcomed me as if I'd never been away.
"Good evening, Jan." "Good evening, Inez. What can I get you, sweetheart?"
"My usual rum." She reached for a bottle of Bermudez Dorado and poured a generous measure into a glass. 3-year-old amber rum. Smooth, warm, and dangerous if you forgot to respect it. "I need to relax," I said. Inez looked at me over the rim of the glass. "Trouble?" "Not exactly." "That means yes." I smiled. My evening just became more complicated than I expected. For a moment, she studied my face. Then she leaned closer. "Oh, Jan. A man like you shouldn't be alone. There are too many beautiful women in Puerto Rico for you to live like a hermit." I laughed. "Maybe you're right. But I've already had enough complications in my life. Now I prefer peace." "Men always say that," she said, waving a hand. Before I could answer, new customers appeared at the bar. Inez gave me a quick smile and went to serve them. The tavern was busy. Familiar faces, fishermen, small business owners, locals trying to forget the day with rum, music, and loud conversation. Then I saw a hand waving from the far end of the room. Carlos, captain of a fishing boat, one of the loudest, funniest, most impossible men I had ever met on the island. Years earlier, he had talked me into a tuna fishing trip. Since then, we had become occasional partners in rum and nonsense. He raised his glass. "Jan, finally! Where the hell have you been?" I sat opposite him.
You know I don't like crowds. I prefer silence to spending every night in bars. Carlos burst out laughing. So nothing has changed. He took a deep drink, wiped his mouth with the back of his hand, and leaned forward. Sit down and listen. I've got a story for the front page, I sighed. Carlos, not tonight. Tonight I'm really not in the mood for your stories. No, 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 he lifted a finger. You have to hear this one. Then he raised his glass. But first, to your health. We clinked glasses. I drank more than I intended. The rum spread through me, warm and slow. All right, I said. Tell me. Carlos narrowed his eyes. Not so fast. He pointed at me with his glass. You first. Me? Don't play games. I know that face. This is about a woman. I laughed. What makes you say that? I know you. Since you walked in, you look like a man who either won the lottery, he paused, or fell in love. I shook my head. I met someone from my past. Carlos straightened in his chair. No. Yes. A woman. A woman. The woman? I looked at him. I didn't have to answer. Carlos slapped the table. Santa Maria! Then he turned toward the bar. Inez! Another bottle! Tonight we celebrate! Laughter rolled across the tavern. Inez looked over, shook her head, and reached for another bottle anyway. Carlos poured us both more rum and settled back in his chair. Fine, he said. If you won't tell me about your mysterious lady, we'll talk about my story. I'm listening, Captain. He lowered his voice. There was trouble in the harbor this morning. What kind of trouble? A boat burned. I frowned. Burned? That's what they say. You saw it? No. By the time I reached the pier, the police were already pushing everyone back. So you know everything from gossip. Gossip is often more honest than official reports. He took another long drink. And they say they found a body. The smile left my face. Who? Nobody knows. Then how do they know there was a body? Carlos pointed at himself. Carlos, don't ask stupid questions. Then he laughed at his own joke. I shook my head. One day you will drive me insane. Don't worry, he said. Tomorrow it will be in the papers. That may be the first sensible thing you've said tonight. You see, that's why you like my company. No, I lifted my glass. I like the rum. Both of us burst out laughing. At that moment, Inez appeared beside our table and placed a fresh bowl of roasted peanuts in front of us. Gentlemen, eat something. Otherwise tomorrow you'll both be complaining about your heads. A woman always has to have the last word, Carlos sighed dramatically. That's why they live longer than us, I said. Inez stuck her tongue out at us and went back behind the bar. For a moment, we sat in silence. The tavern was getting busier. Voices rose around us. Someone at the next table laughed so loudly it drowned out the music from the speakers. I lifted my glass and let my eyes move across the room. Then I noticed them. Two men sitting in the darkest corner of the tavern. They didn't look local. Too neat, too quiet, too well-dressed for that place and that hour. One wore a light shirt. The other kept a dark jacket on, despite the warm evening. At first, nothing about them was obvious. And then, my eyes dropped lower. The trouser leg of the man in the jacket did not fall naturally just above the ankle. The fabric pulled slightly outward, right above the shoe, as if something hard and heavy had been strapped there. I had seen that kind of shape before. Not a wallet, not a phone, a weapon. He noticed me looking. Only for a second. Our eyes met. Then he turned away. San Juan was full of tourists. Men in expensive clothes were nothing unusual, and yet something about them felt wrong. "What are you thinking about?" Carlos asked. "Nothing." "You're lying." "It's the rum." "No, I know you too well." I glanced again toward the corner. The two men were still there, calm, silent, watching the room, or waiting for someone. I changed the subject. "So, how is your old boat?" Carlos looked offended. "My boat?" "Yes, hasn't sunk yet?" He straightened proudly. "Madrecita is still alive." That was her name, Madrecita. The old fishing boat that looked as if every storm in the Caribbean had personally tried to kill her. "I'll still make money from her," Carlos said. "You'll see. I just need to fix her up a little. Tourists won't climb aboard a wreck." "Don't worry," I said. "If you need help, I'll help." He looked at me carefully. "Help? Maybe I'll even invest a little." The change in him was immediate. His eyes widened. "Would you really do that?" "Why?" "You gain nothing from it." I smiled. "Maybe I do." He frowned, confused. "I like you, Carlito. And I like your company. You're a good man. At least, that's how I see you. So yes, if you want, I'll put some money into Madrecita." He stared at me for a moment. Then he jumped to his feet. For one terrifying second, I thought he was going to hug me. I stayed seated. So instead, he grabbed my right hand and shook it with both of his. "You fell from heaven, brother." "I swear, I was going to ask you. I just didn't know how." "And you said it first." He lifted his half-empty glass. "I love you." "To your health." He emptied it in one swallow. "Sit down," I said, "and don't get carried away. We'll discuss everything properly when we're sober." I looked at my watch. "It's getting late. Let's end the evening here. Tomorrow, or in a few days, we'll meet and talk through the details." Carlos glanced at the empty bottle. For a moment, I could see the temptation in his eyes. One more drink. One more story. One more hour. But he nodded. "You're right. Tomorrow is another day." He grabbed my hand again. "Thank you, brother. Truly." Then he hugged me anyway. A moment later, we left the tavern together. Outside, the night air was warm and heavy. Old San Juan was still alive around us. Music, voices, distant laughter. Carlos lived at the other end of the old town. After a short farewell, we went our separate ways. I started walking home alone, but before I turned the corner, I looked back once. The tavern door opened. Two men stepped out. The same two men from the dark corner. They didn't follow me. Not yet. But they stood there for a moment beneath the yellow streetlight, watching. Then the door closed behind them, and the night suddenly felt a little less peaceful. End of episode 2.